I think a year ago when we did this, it was really just to try and see if what we do from a simulation point of view around the helicopter, specifically for home use, even translate more or less to the ability to fly real helicopters. And I think my previous video spoke about, can a simulator pilot fly a real helicopter? So where are we today? Decided 6 months ago to start training. And yeah, I've flown 15 hours, and as we sit here today, ready to go solo, and that in itself is quite a big achievement. My name is Andries Lombard. I started a business called EG Evolve Simulator Rigs about 4 years ago. That's on the back of a 34-year professional career where I essentially managed a huge international-based market research organization. It's a business that was started through pretty much a passion for gaming and a passion for simulation. I think this is something that I always wanted to do for the last 35 years, never had the opportunity, and suddenly in a position where this passion, this love for flying and the love for helicopters specifically became a real thing. And I think the introduction flight that we did was really just the first step towards moving into becoming a real helicopter pilot. But the coordination that you learn when you're doing a simulation, in this case really having a flight simulator with a cyclic rudder pedals or direction control pedals or anti-torque pedals, whatever you want to call it, and a collective pitch, and the coordination between the three different controls really gave me the big advantage of adapting quite easily to getting used to the basic things like hovering, like flying straight and level, like climbing, like turning, because the coordination that's required is pretty much exactly the same as from what I used to do in the helicopter simulator. A lot of the comments I had on my initial video was that people say, well, going out and fly my introduction flight in the 44 is easy. It's an easier helicopter to fly. And I totally agree. I think the 44 is, at least from a control point of view, perhaps easier to control because it's light from the controls. But when I started flying, I went straight into the 22. But it wasn't too difficult. The same principle applies. Same kind of forces that works on the machine, same kind of counter action that you have to put in, the same kind of motions that you have to go through to fly the machine. So I didn't find it too difficult to transition from the 44 and start training in the 22. So going solo in itself is nerve-wracking. Don't let anybody tell you anything else. Although you feel confident when you're flying, it's still nerve-wracking to think that suddenly your instructor is not sitting next to you. But your instructor will not send you solo unless they feel that you are competent enough to do that in the first place. So they kind of enforce a level of confidence onto you when they do that. But you at the same time also need to feel a level of confidence as well. It doesn't come without nerves. And I think if you fly anything without nerves, there's definitely something wrong and you may not have a very long life. What we expect to do today is to do a quick circuit with the instructor, just to ensure that we're happy with what is expected. The idea will be to take off, do a couple of hover turns solo, and then hover taxi out to the holding point, and from there then fly a circuit and then can return back. So that's kind of what we expect to do today. It's supposed to be a very simple circuit. What leads up to this? You need to be able to at least have a certain basic level of understanding from an emergency point of view. There we're talking about power loss in a hover, power loss in forward flight, in other words being able to auto-rotate, and understand some of the emergencies that will be required should anything go wrong during that first initial flight. So that's very important, and we spent quite a lot of time before today to prep and understand some of the emergency procedures that will actually you really need to understand quite well before you can fly solo, because anything can still happen.
the wind is from. They make contact, and congratulations to you, sir.
Ach, jij kan smilen. Eigenlijk.
Dank je.
Mooi, mooi voor jou.
Dat is het. Handschoen. Kijk daar.
En hier is
Voor jou iets een keer.
Moet je lachen weer gaan pas? Solo is always a very intimidating one, and sometimes just the last piece that reaffirms that your instructors actually has the confidence in you, you actually do have the confidence, and to do it is absolutely an amazing feeling. It's a different kind of freedom that you feel when you suddenly get controls and you fly on your own. Yeah, and it's just a first step in the next one. Yeah, I think a lot of people do the helicopter license just to tick the box and say I've got a helicopter license. I think at this time in my life I would like to take it further than that. My aim is on becoming a commercial pilot, not to necessarily fly as a commercial pilot, but for me it's just a goal. Life takes you to places where you sometimes don't think you'll end up, and you just go with it. And I think in this particular instance, without the simulator business, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do this. So it's an absolute dream come true. I think that's the driving force behind the business. The passion that's behind it really helps us to want to be successful, because there are more and bigger things that one can do if you have a platform like that. And you really need to start looking at alternative ways of really reaching and achieving those goals that you've set aside many, many years ago as well.